Hello everyone, and welcome to One-on-Juanichi. Once again, this is your host, Elmar Landay, and kasama ko po ngayon as my co-host, si Kuya Ezekiel Kokos Buendia, ang ating associate editor. So, may nakalimutan ko, wala ka kasi. And for our guests for today, ito po ang ating pinaka-minamahal na principal. Siya po ang aming, magpapasok namin, siya po ang aming previous advisor ng grade 8
Aristotle.
Grade 8 Aristotle. And siya po ang isa po sa mga pinaka-matatalino na teachers po sa school na po ito.
Yes.
Please welcome Sir Rogelio Laroza. Sir, kamusta po kayo?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you very much for this invitation.
So sir, na-mention nga po namin na dati po namin kayong advisor.
Yes.
And the year after that, naging principal po, na-assign po kaagad kayo ng principal, di ba sir?
Yes, that's correct.
Sir, ano po yung, ano po masasabi yun, like, paano yung transition at first? Okay lang po ba, or?
Well, in every opportunity naman to go up the ladder entails challenges, opportunities, and of course, it takes a lot of cost analysis on my part to really consider when the first time out that it was offered to me. But along the way, the transition went smooth. However, of course, when I delved into the operation already, there I sense all the struggles of the organization that I would say played its operation over the years. And but I have embraced it wholeheartedly to help. And what you see is what you get.
Kaya nga po, ganito na po yung school natin ngayon na sir. Sa ano. Nagkaroon po ba kayong experience? Like, in the past years na nagtuturo kayo, may experience na po ba yung principal?
Yes. Firstly, I became a principal in 2008-2009. Okay. And then, of course, it went as far as 2011. And then I became a research director, a research and development director in a college somewhere in Batangas. And then, in the same school, because that is another promotion on that school. I became a principal, and then I became a research and development director. And then eventually, when we moved, when I say moved, that is when we relocated to Lipa, referring to my family, I moved to another school there near our house, where I served as the assistant director for administration. And of course, that was the last school before I went here. So, but then, way back in 2013, the plan was really, okay, I'll take this chance to go abroad, make that, get that feeling. First time working abroad. But of course, relatively, I had some trips before. But so as a teacher, this is my first time. Now, the original plan was really to teach only because I left my managerial job simply because I want to go back to teaching full time. Because since 2008, roughly, I've been shuttling between managing and teaching. When I say managing and teaching, managing almost 3/4 of the day, and then just before the days off or was off, I taught in college. So that was my outlet, just to get that feeling of getting hooked with the first profession that I love, of course. That's it.
So yun po ba yung nangyari po sa last year, nung first year niya ng principaling, di po ako sure kung tama, pero sabi po ng fourth year students, yung last period po ba na AP?
Yes.
Kayo po yung teacher niya.
Yes.
Sir, na-mention nga po na medyo mahirap principal. Can you cite a few examples? Pero like, yung mga kaya nyo masabi sa amin kasi sir, syempre ito may...
Well, here?
Yes sir.
Definitely. Here at Pubcast? Well, I can name a number of them, of course. But I always bench it on the assessment that I have made. Okay, first, when this job was offered to me, I honestly told the management that I'll be basing the resolution or the action plan based on the problems that they would present it to me. So after that, of course, I got the job when I presented the program. So the program that I presented includes review and assessment of the operation in general. So this includes, of course, looking at how the standard operating procedures of the academic side and, of course, the administrative side of managing a school. Because these two are always involved when managing a school. In the area of academics, this entails instruction, curriculum development and design, student services, okay, which include library, okay, clinic, laboratories, and also includes record keeping and management and student discipline. Okay. On the admin side, of course, we look at the policies, the rules and regulations. We look at the financial side. We look at the operation side of property management in terms of security and safety. And then, of course, overall, you look at the totality in terms of logistics. I mean to say, how these two units are engaged in supporting one another. And then, of course, another thing is the educational program. What is the existing educational program of Pancras? Well, as I have read and still remember that in the primary level, the educational program stated thereat in the student parent handbook or parent student handbook, okay, it embraces the Montessorian method, okay, and then the math and science curriculum is upstaged at the high school level, elementary and high school level, intermediate and high school level. Of course, at first, I look at it based on the surface value, meaning to say, okay, Montessori, etc. Having known these methodologies, of course, I expected that it was indeed Montessori. However, my anticipation and expectation went into a nosedive because it wasn't really that kind of setup. Then, when I started to look on the available records and the operation itself in the high school, science and math curricula, shadedly on a gray scale, yes, more or less. But my training as an educator tells me all the time that it's too far from the science and math curriculum. So already at that time it posed a great challenge already. Of course, another area where aside from reviewing the operation and then of course looking at the educational program, of course the vital signs. Okay, the vital signs. What are the vital signs of the operation? Of course, enrollment. Okay, faculty. All right. So these two are very important. Vital signs of the operation.
So, kasama yung pag-assign nyo ng posts, bagong posts sa teachers.
Yeah, because I have to look at it in terms of its history. What was the pattern of enrollment of the school for the past 10 years or 11 years when I assumed the post, and what were the factors that led to its rise, fall, etc. And how was the turnover of teachers? Meaning to say, come and go of teachers. Why do teachers leave? Why do employees leave? Why do employees stay? What makes them stay? What makes them happy at work, etc. So you see, it's a total review of the whole system. Alright? It is very important for a manager to look at this one because it's like driving a car. You look at the speedometer, okay, of course, with pedaling, you try to put some gas and when to step on the brakes, etc. while balancing everything, just to make sure that the engine is running no matter how fast or slow. And then of course, the institutional reputation. Okay, how do people perceive Palmcrest inside, and how do people perceive Palmcrest outside? Okay, why is it important? I call it as internal and external marketing. If the internal marketing value is low, mean to say, the market-driven strategy of the school is poor. If the external marketing value is even low or lower, okay, then the market-driving strategy of the school. These are two concepts: market-driven and market-driving strategies. When I say market-driven, keeping and maintaining loyal enrollees or patrons. Market-driving strategy is getting in, increasing, getting new enrollees or recruiting people. So, of course, as a practitioner of human resource and looking at the marketing side of people management, motivating people is one key factor why they stay and they go. And parents do need motivation, students need motivation, teachers need motivation. Everybody needs this one. So, of course, after looking at the institutional reputation, of course, is we have to look at another E. Okay, and this time we need to look at its external value. Okay, this is attaching to the marketing or market-driven and market-driving strategies. If people inside look at the school with great reputation, if people outside look at the school in the same way, then its external value or its stock value outside is high. So we can easily promote the school. And then, of course, on the latter part, of course, is we look at the wonderful opportunities. Okay, the wonderful opportunities. What lies ahead for Palmcrest? Okay, what are the opportunities for its chances to grow? And based on looking at REVIE, looking at the review, what are the feasible and non-feasible measures to undertake? So I have been going through this process since I assumed. And thereat, the product was, of course, methodically, I tried to address the root of the problem. Of course. And I have identified the problems already. And the root cause is that, the root causes is that there's no solid foundation on the methodology that the school wanted to really dispense. There's no standard. There's no standard, let us say, if other school, like the British International School, the American International School, they have what we call American curriculum. They have the British curriculum, as they say. And of course, both use, with different terminologies, of course, the International Baccalaureate program. And that is an educational program. And the school has adopted a generic Philippine curriculum and educational program, yet it has tried its best to modify, yet it has not really reached that level where it is comfortably confident in doing what is best, really. So, in short, the school is trying to get itself into a level where it is trying to create an identity for itself. So, as the first few documents that I have read tell me, there's a balanced curriculum for academics, and then of course for extracurricular activities and character development. I like it. Okay, I like it. However, when I tried to look at the operation or at that instance, okay, how it happens, of course, there's no balance. Okay.
Meron po, May nakalagay.
May nakalagay, pero hindi nag-exist.
Hindi nag-exist.
Yan. So I have to do something to make it happen. And of course, to cut the long story short, we come up with the competence, which is character, competence, and citizenship program. Okay, the 3 C's, which of course represent the educational platform of the school. The character development, that's the competence, the character development of the school, the values formation, and of course the citizenship, in which is strengthening the co-curricular activities. Very clear cut. Okay, clear cut. So, in short, year 1, that was last school year, was a soft operation based on what we tried to implement. Year 2,
experiment lang po yung
yes, we try to assess what we put there and then improve it along the way. And year 2 should be an improvement.
Yung mga last year po ba, sir, lahat po ng mga plano po, naganap po ba?
Most of which. But it was an assessment year. Meaning to say, when you manage a system, you put up the methodology, the plan of action, the framework, and of course on how to implement. And then you assess along the way if it's happening. If it's not, then you try to identify the factors. And then after which, we evaluate at the end of the school year, which we did. Among all the faculties, we evaluated every corner of the operation. And that's the reason why we strengthen. Okay? And you have noted you have noticed well-noted improvement and of course changes, because that was the product of assessment and evaluation. So it was a methodological and systematic approach. It wasn't a perfect one, but we were able to introduce a line of program which is in line with the vision and mission of the school, which, if you have noticed, was an improved version of the old vision and mission. It is basically the same, but it simplifies the direction of the school. And the mission becomes clearer because we identify the client, the student, right? Somebody who embodies the 3 C's and who will impact society. And by simply providing quality instruction and quality learning environment. So if we will try to identify everything, somebody who will manage the school, even if it's not me, will be guided properly.
Yes.
All right, will be guided properly. What do I look at every time that I monitor classrooms? I need to see that teachers are teaching, and they are following the curriculum that we designed, and that they are using methodology and instructional tools appropriate to the lessons to ensure quality instruction. And why do the school managers or owners or board of directors or trustees continue to develop resources to suffice the need to improve the quality learning environment? So, but it was not an easy job because it entails a lot of resources, financial resources. And like I said earlier, we need to balance every single meter of growth. And that includes putting some gas, yet you have to consider also the consumption of gas, and also you have to consider your passengers or your load, etc. So it has to be balanced. And comparing last school year and this school year so far, this school year is a much better version of last school year. I mean, that's my point of view, based on my objective analysis on the vital signs that I am using, which I told you earlier. Okay? And then of course, I also look at how students respond to the new set of, it's not a new set, okay? If there's something new, lockers, the use of the Wi-Fi based projectors, and then of course some improved mechanisms on operations. Okay, we standardize. We tried to introduce the 7S this year. Okay, and we will continue to strengthen that. And of course, we already have the merit and demerit system in the old handbook.
Yes, sir.
However, it was not totally implemented. You can tell it. You can tell it, right?
Yes.
You can tell it. But it's there, and we just improve it. Alright? So, it is a policy long before drafted, yet it has never been tapped to the advantage and for the benefit of the students.
It's like binigay po. It's been presented, yet it's not being practiced really. Parang hindi po aware yung students.
Exactly. And the funny thing here is that some sectors are reacting like it is something new. Actually, it's not.
Yes.
Right? And, well, sociologically speaking, it is still part of the process. Because when we institute a program, we expect social interaction and we expect social reaction. And one of the reactions should be either positive or negative. But it will pass through each of these stages before it becomes a habit. And that's the reason why we instituted KAHA since last year. Because values formation will go through each of these stages. Okay? Learning will go through these stages. In a lifetime, all of us grow on the same stages through. We're not just aware of it. But we all learn knowledge. Okay? We all acquire additional abilities as we age and mature. Even organizations like church, companies, schools, industries, they have to continue learning, they have to continue acquiring new abilities to build culture in the organization and to make it as a habit, right? So it passes through struggles and sacrifices, really. And those birth pains being experienced by both employees or teachers, staff, and students, or even the management, these are part of the process. Okay, and it should be considered as an affirmative sign because meaning to say, just like taking medicine, if the bitter taste of the medicine enables the reaction of the bacteria and the parasites or virus, then meaning to say it is working. That's it. So we don't have to worry about the reaction. That's it.
Okay, so sir, nasagutan niyo po lahat ng questions. Nagulot talaga eh.
Well, it must be the coffee. It's like before I went there, it's there. So
Talaga. Pero thank you sir sa information po na inlay. So sir, before tayo mag-end, meron po kaming, since we're pretty short na time, meron po tayo 3 questions or 4, actually 4 personal questions na kung okay lang po sa iyo, sasagutin niyo po. Okay sir, una is coffee or tea? Well, which would you prefer?
tea.
Tea talaga. So sir, so kailangan talaga may may tea, may coffee.
Yes. Well, I shuttle from coffee to tea. But of course, based on my health status, I need to lessen my intake of coffee. Okay.
Second question.
Sir, di ba sir, dati po kayo po yung advisor namin.
Yeah?
And ngayon po medyo hindi po namin alam kung ba't natatakot po po sa inyo, pero parang nag-i-strict po ba kayo sa
Parang in terms mo being strict sa amin, and then being strict sa buong school, may pinagbago ba sir? Para sa inyo?
may pinagbago?
Yes.
Tumaas ba or bumaba?
Tumaas.
Ay,
Okay.
Kasi sir, parang pag nakikita po namin kayo, parang kinakabahan po naman.
I told you. I mean, I practically handled almost every single level.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I've always been very, very consistent with my style of managing and instructional management, and that is, if it's laugh time, we laugh. If it's business, business. If otherwise, then we do it accordingly. But if there is an indication that things are getting out of hand, then the manager in me should come out.
Yes.
Okay? And there are times that the father in me manifests. And there are times that the Leo per se shows. So I have to respond according to the situation. Meaning to say, this is not for me. This is something that I value as a person and as a professional because, like I said even before, I will always be a teacher and a father in and out of my four-corner classroom and house. And I have never taken off my coat as a father and as a teacher. And that is the reason why it would be hard for me to say no if I would say yes talaga. And the other way around. Okay? And that's the reason why people sometimes view or look at me, or the mere sound of my shoe, striking the ground is already a cause for them to, be alert. Okay. Well, for one, I am happy because that shows that I am able to stop my authority. On the other hand, I am sad. Okay, or I regret to have, stopped that kind of authority, simply because not all personalities could embrace, okay, the mere presence. Alright? Now, of course, I understand why people look at me that way, feel that way towards me, simply because there are two things. Do well, the law will not go against you. Okay? Do otherwise, fear.
Tsaka sir, medyo kilala namin kayo sir pag kinalit.
Yes.
Ala.
Okay. Definitely.
Pag naging proud.
Yes. And that's the reason why I celebrate life in the same way as if what my heart tells me that I need to discipline people, I need to discipline people. But I never run out of compliment and acknowledgement. I always say, very good, you're doing well, great job, I tap people's back.
Yes.
Because you deserve it. But when you deserve to hear one, I will rebuke you. Okay, I will call for you in the office. Okay, or probably I will write something. Definitely, that's my mission. It's not a personal mission per se. I always believe that if I have the chance to correct, I will do it. In as much as my parents corrected me before. Had they not, I would have not, demonstrated set of values that I have right now. And probably because I choose to be, how do you call this one? I choose to be more of the element of cadence, or the snappy, military style sometimes, yet soft at most. Because as a graduate of education, I have wholeheartedly learned how to deal with different personalities. I took that wholeheartedly. Okay? I know how to deal with strong personalities, with soft personalities, with interactive personalities, with conscientious personalities, with people with split personalities. Okay? Because I tried really to put myself into their shoes, and that's part of my training. And it was enhanced as well when I had my training as a manager. Okay, taking up management and of course human resource. So, and you couple that with your experience or my experience over the years, I learned a lot. I learned more actually in the field, more than in the classroom. Okay, and so here at Pancrest, the opportunities for its growth is actually huge. I always believe in the mission and the vision that the board has developed, and of course in cooperation with people behind them. And I always believe that it will continue. Okay? But I believe also that there should be some reforms to be done. Okay? Like for example, there has to be a specific scheme to continue motivating employees. Specific scheme to sustain their hope for security on the job. And at the same time, being creative in sustaining its market-driven and market-driving strategies. Okay, these are important. Okay. So just like the coffee and of course the cookies there, the bread. Of course, there should be a complement between the management and the employees, as much as the teachers complement the students and vice versa. Okay? Without any of these, then the school is incomplete.
Sir, maybe this ito na po yung last question. In terms po sa echoes, as you know, from last year
And
until
the
this
previous
year,
years.
and the previous years na nag-exist ng echoes, talagang skyrocket, napunta sa ibang planeta ang
Yeah.
ang echoes. Sir, ano po yung ano po masasabi nyo sa talagang napakabilis na improvement ngayon ng echoes? Ano po ito? First time po din namin ito na gawin yung one-on-Juanichi.
Well, we credit that to Sir Dean and of course to Sir Bads, the transition from the two and between them, and the people who occupied the chief editorship before, the other editors and the contributors, and I just help them to inspire themselves, to challenge themselves, to create more opportunities. Because as a former, of course, campus journalist myself, and having been a publication director at one point in a certain college, I know the value of campus journalism. And when I saw the opportunities, I laid down at first to Teacher Badge the early parts of going through some forms of notification. So we have launched the e-echoes at first.
Yes.
Yes, and that was under the tutorship of Sir Badge. That was the first stage. After which we assessed, we reviewed, I reviewed, and went through more, reflection. And I said to myself, this will be the next stage. And I talked to Sir Dean, brainstorm, and voila, the rest is history.
Yes.
And of course, it takes two to tango, as they say. So I give credit to the whole team, even you guys, and that's my job. I teach, I manage, I inspire, I influence. I just set the direction, but the hard work, the leg works, people do it. But it's very important. Like I said, it's a complementary role between the coffee and the bread. That's it.
Sir, extra lang na question. Ano po ba kayo live stream nung umpisa? Live stream po namin nung umpisa.
Yeah.
Until yung, kasi sir, meron din, kung nakita niyo po yung mga kalokohan po namin sa commentary.
Yes, I saw a few.
Lalo po nung nagpapose nung madaling araw na game sa basketball. Talagang
Yes.
kung
Mga
nalaman niyo
1
lang po, kami ni Earl, cameraman natin,
Yes.
tsaka Sir Dean, antok na kami, tas
You're fighting off your exhaustion. You're warding off your stress. So you cannot avoid such kind of antique, ika nga nila. But you did a pretty well good job there. Considering that it was the maiden, the initial upstaging of an ambitious way of reporting in the campus journalism. So I am so proud of the accomplishment in the boys section in all areas. As you have noted, we have tried our best to really enhance and improve all areas. Okay, but I also wish the guys, the teachers, the students, to really express gratitude to the board for supporting the continuous development of the school. And but I must be honest as well that I wish that improvement will continue. And the only way to improve is to go through the review, continuous assessment and review.
yes.
And if there's a mistake, if there is a gray area, we have to embrace it and say, okay, let's change this. I mean, as a person, that's the only way for you to grow.
Para makapag-move on.
Exactly.
And accept.
Yeah, it's the only way. And of course, time has proven already across cultures that it's the only proven formula. And I believe Pampas will continue to progress in the succeeding years, with or without me. And I must say, with or without me. If only the next principal or the next manager or whoever or whatever the title may be called, okay, will stick to the plan, will actually focus on the very vision and mission, has the heart and passion for education, for the students, for the teachers to continue improve, and not feeding his pride or ego, it will improve definitely. And for these 2 school years, I would say it was a team effort, and it has been that way. And that's the challenging part, actually, putting new personalities into the team, blending them. That's the challenge of cooking, like getting the right taste and
Balance.
yeah, balance and everything. And I believe we have already reached that level. And I just hope that the guys will stay long as much as I want to stay long. Okay, but of course, as the coffee of course runs out from the container, it has to it has to be either reconstituted the next time out that you mix a cup of coffee, then you should replicate, okay, the last taste that people tasted, as they say. So that's it. I believe the school will continue to
Mr. Coach, may tanong ka pa ba? Or gusto mong ako muna mag-last? Or gusto mong end na tayo?
Depende. Ikaw ba na?
Ay, ganun. Kaya, na kami sa associate na to. Okay, sir. Sige, last question. Sure.
Okay, alright.
Okay, last question. Sir, since mga questions po natin medyo nasa isang level, baba tayo ng konti.
Alright.
For last question, ano po ang opinion nyo sa mga trending ngayon na hugot? Sa social media, mga students, hanggang sa
Opinion.
classroom na, ano pa?
Opinion
hugot.
talaga. Opinion.
Yung tipo yung parang napakahirap na alam sa science, tapos maghuhugot na naman yung iba.
Okay.
Ano po masasabi niyo sa mga ganun?
It only manifests the two sides of life. There are people who take it seriously. There are people who take it lightly. And I must say, people who are venturing into this kind of line of thinking and expression, or shall we say, defense mechanism, okay, are fighting off their stress and exhaustion in life. It is their way of getting attention so that whatever likes or quantity of likes that they would get eventually on social media would render some form of satisfaction. And when people react either affirmatively or negatively, at least people reacted to their hugot, and it feels good. And I would take it out or draw it out from the principle of factory production. What goes in goes out or comes out.
Somehow it's like a bittersweet.
It's a bittersweet experience, and of course manifestation of reality subconsciously, and of course consciously, of course. But I must step on more on the subconscious effort of the person to really entice or get attention, because not everybody is aware that this is the age of information, the digital age. Take note, digital information by which, by any effort, you must be recognized in any manner.
Thank you,
More
sir.
or less, right?
Yes, sir.
That's my opinion only. Don't take it seriously.
Sir, may ano ba kayong hugot sa ating mga viewers ngayon?
I'm not so good on hugot, okay? But
Try lang natin for the camera.
well, let's put it this way. Okay, you know, everybody knows that I walk to and from my house. Diba? So, every day, nakilala ko na ang bawat alikabok. Naging kaibigan ko ng bawat pusa. At kilala ko na ang bawat sasakyan. Diba? So, ang ano ko lang doon is, of course, when you cross a street, you have to remember things like this one. If you stop, you will remain on the same place. But if you step forward, you will cross the street. I mean,
Medyo ilang seconds pa.
sorry, that's my kind of hugot. Huh? Mean to say, huh?
Lalim naman siya.
Hindi. If you stop, you will remain in the same place. But if you step forward, you will cross the street. You will be able to cross the street.
Pwede naman kasi yung mga hugot, mga simpleng bagay talaga binibigyan ng tip na ano.
Binibigyan ko ng meaning po. Kahit po kunyari, nahulog lang po yung pencil niya tapos hindi niyo po nasa. Bibigyan po nila ng meaning.
Kaya nga sabi ko nga sa iyo, that's my kind of hugot. Diba? May ano kasi yan para bang may Tagalog version yan Okay. Diba?
Yes sir, congratulations na nakagawa kayo ng hugot.
Impromptu yan.
Impromptu ba?
Super deep na lang po. As in, abot.
Yung abot na, nasa corner ng earth.
Ay, nandun na ba?
Hindi lumampas.
Baka na.
Sa south.
Diba?
Okay, so thank you sir for your time po and for the interview sir. And thank you po sa mga manonood, and if you want to see more of our episodes of One-on-Juanichi, please go to our website www.ecosonline.news, where di lang po ito mahanap nyo kundi pati rin yung aming YouTube channel sa aming pag-record ng live stream from the Pisang, and also some other articles na aming na-publish sa website. And also, if you want, you can check out the new website ng school, which is the Poetry Press. Poetry Press ba yun? Poetry Council. Basta website din siya sa...
Nakalink naman yung website.
I think it's Poetry Council.
Yeah, poetrycouncil.press. So, poetrycouncil.press, where makikita yung mga poems ng mga students na ating mga... Okay, sir. So, that's it. Once again, sir, thank you. And shout out sa ating kuya cameraman, si Mr. Earl Dabaluyas. Hi, Earl. This is One-on-Juanichi signing off. Goodbye.